There we go. Are we recording? Yes, we are. Hello there, beautiful souls. I am recording this training one more time because I have a new audio setup and the microphone is way better. And I just wanted to walk you through it one more time with a more clear audio because I've received the feedback that somebody said, no, the audio is not that great. So I said, gonna fix it for you. So welcome to this training. It's called the 3 main mental health problems. And what I'm going to highlight here are just 3 of the most common mental health issues people worldwide are suffering from. And of course, I'm not just only going to lay out which ones they are. No, I'm also going to give you different solutions to start working through them, to start releasing them, to start letting go of them. This is something that I've been doing since the year of 2020. I started out as a coach mid-2020, and I was focusing on people with depression, anxiety, and that come from deep, dark spaces, same like myself. So I also come from a place, and I've been in a place in my life where I know what depression is like. I know what it feels like to be suicidal over more than just a couple of weeks. And I know what it feels like to suffer from anxiety disorder, from panic attacks, etc., etc. So I've got you, I've been there, I've experienced it. And everything that you're learning in this training is, first of all, based on my personal life experience. Second of all, based on all the teachings that I've been receiving over the past 5-ish years of my life by my coaches, my mentors, my yoga teachers, my breathwork teachers, etc., etc. And so what I'm teaching you here has worked for me, and I've observed how it has worked for everybody that I was able to work with over the past years since I've came out as a coach. So let's dive right into the first mental health problem. How do we do that? Hello. Presentation mode. There we go. Problem number 1, depression and anxiety. I mentioned it before. Those are 2 so common, if not the most common mental health struggles people have these days. And I just want to differentiate real quick. Feeling bad for a couple of hours, days, or even a week doesn't qualify to be identified or diagnosed as a depression or an anxiety disorder. It qualifies once you've suffered for a longer time, over weeks, and the feelings that you're feeling are consistent. If that's what's up, then you are suffering from depression and anxiety. But don't worry, there's a good solution for that. So how to treat and heal that? The first thing that I've discovered on my life journey is minimalism. And minimalism is not just about decluttering your physical surrounding. It's a whole mindset that is a foundation for healing. Let me clarify. Decluttering your life from all physical, mental, and emotional garbage. It means that we're reducing them to what's essential on our journey to happiness. Now, this I teach in a whole module inside of my Become Your Medicine program. I'll tell you more about the program later on. But the cool thing is when we're starting applying minimalism as a concept to our mental landscape, to our social surroundings, to our emotional spaces, and also to our physical spaces, we declutter and we let go. We get rid of everything that doesn't serve us. And the more space we have there in our heart, in our mind, everywhere, the more we really can invite things into our life that are good, healing, and nourishing for us. So minimalism as a basic construct, a mindset principle, is the first thing that can treat and heal sustainably depression and anxiety. Now, of course, that goes hand in hand with meditation practice. Meditation practice, I consider it as a mental minimalism practice. We're learning to declutter the mind from whatever isn't serving us. Changing our brain waves, that's a formula, a specific meditation formula I've learned by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And it goes way deeper than just sitting there and trying to not think, okay? So what we're doing, what I'm teaching inside my program is we're changing our brain waves. And with that, we're accessing our subconscious mind, which actually is 95% of our brain space. If you imagine your mind being like a hard drive or a USB stick, and you only have access to 5%, which is what most people do throughout their whole life. I think that's kind of dumb. We're equipped with so much more capacity and so much more wisdom that is stored in there. And this meditation practice, it can help us rewire deep-rooted beliefs so that your mind becomes your ally and helps you produce positive thoughts. Because a consistent negative thought chain is what leads us into depression and anxiety, isn't it? Consistently having the mind produce thoughts, visions, images that aren't serving us, that are dragging us down, self-doubt, criticism, perfectionism, judgment, self-judgment, all these thoughts, they spiral and spiral until we become depressed and we start suffering from a depression as a disorder or anxiety as a disorder. Now, when it comes to anxiety, I want to talk to you about breath work, because breath work is one of those practices that can specifically treat and heal anxiety and panic attacks in the moment, within minutes. What we're doing in breath work, we're regulating your nervous system. And with that, we can navigate blood pressure, stress level, and with that, anxiety attacks. Breathwork holds an even deeper potential. If practiced deep and correctly, which is what we're doing in my program, is we can release stored emotions and even deeper trauma experiences. So the meditation and the breathwork practice both hold the potential to do that. Yet what breathwork and meditation have different is that meditation starts working with the mind and breathwork starts working from the breath. So you're having two approaches, and working from the breath can specifically engage. It's like a conversation, like you're letting your breath do the work. It's like a conversation from your breath to your nervous system. And your nervous system is that system in your body. We have two parts of it, but that's too deep for this training. Don't remember that. We have the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. And regarding on how we breathe, what kind of breathing we choose to start or to put into application, we can regulate a different part of our nervous system, which means we can basically have like a conversation with our anxiety and using breath as the voice, which is really cool, because when you're trying to engage with anxiety with your head, you know, you overthink even more. It's really challenging, but breathwork offers a key from a different perspective. Really cool. The fourth thing I want to share with you is journaling. And I'm sure for those of you that have been in therapy, you've heard of journaling and you've maybe even been advised to journal. I've been before. And for me, it was just like, how do I do this? Where do I start? What do I write about? Okay. So journaling itself is not the powerful practice. It actually is the journaling framework. So we can use specific frameworks and apply them into our journal, ways to write, questions to ask ourselves. And I figured out a set of frameworks that really work well for me, because specific frameworks do specific things. And we have frameworks that can clarify your values. We have a framework that stabilizes your emotions. We have one that helps you structure your life. And then we have another framework that helps you awaken your creative superpowers and gifts you with a big portion of self-love, which is what we're in it for, right? I believe we're on this earth to receive, to give, to experience love. I think that's our purpose. Everything else, gotta quit doing that. And I know that's challenging, but that's why you're watching this training, okay? So journaling practices is another really helpful tool, especially the frameworks, as I mentioned. The last thing I want to talk about this training is movement. Now, I know that a lot of therapists say you have to go exercise, you have to go for a run, you have to do cardio training. And yes, that works. It helps. But we're all really good at procrastinating. We're all really good at not doing the things that are good for us, aren't we? I know I am. I know I had to really work on procrastination in order to be in a space where I can show up for myself and the things that are important for me consistently. Like, it took me years of practicing that, right? And what I advocate for when it comes to movement practice is that we start understanding the concept of yin and yang, and we learn how to utilize our physical body to move emotions and release them. Now, that's not what you're doing when you're going for a run. Well, you are kind of, but you're not aware of it. the concept of yin and yang, you know, the drawing, yin and yang, all the good has the bad and the bad has the good, or the dark has the light and the light has the dark. But that's not what it's about. It's about engagement and relaxation, about activation and surrender. And when we can learn to apply that concept to our movement practice and find a movement practice that is easy to apply, that doesn't take us a lot of willpower to do, that would be great, wouldn't it? That would be amazing. I actually have one that I teach inside of the Become Your Medicine program. I call it mindful movement, and it's based on ecstatic dance. We're using music, we're using intuitive movement to awaken our body, to move all our body parts and do it in a very fun and playful way. So that's one of the things that I teach inside of the program as well. Yeah, here a little sum up. So these are the things that, or like the practices, the practice areas that I teach on when it comes to depression and anxiety, right? Any questions there? Put them in the comments. Let's move over to problem number two, which is emotional overwhelm. Like, oh my God, I'm feeling so many feelings. I don't know what I'm feeling anymore. I can't breathe. I'm feeling too many things. Or I'm even feeling so many things that I don't really feel anymore. And then I feel numb. And I think I don't feel anymore. But that's still a feeling. Anyway, emotional overwhelm. Maybe you're feeling that right now watching this training. You're like, oh my God, so much information. I feel overwhelmed. Too many emotions. How to solve that? How can we solve emotional overwhelm? First of all, we have to learn what emotions actually exist so that we can identify. We have to learn what emotions, and this has actually been researched. My dear friends Laura and James have taught me that via the teachings of Dr. David Hawkins, I think is his name, and he's created a list of emotions. There's an actual list of which emotions we humans feel. Isn't that amazing? I think that's really helpful. So once we know which emotions exist, we can put the puzzle pieces together and identify our own emotion. Why is that important? Because when we identify one, we can apply a coping strategy, a methodology, anything to learn to manage our emotions. Because very often in the moment when an emotion comes up, we're maybe in a situation where we just can't isolate and deal with the emotion. So we have to manage it for a moment until we can apply a tool or a methodology or a practice that can sustainably release an emotion. And the ones I introduced you to before, some of those also hold that potential, right? Inside of the Become Your Medicine program, there is a module all the way at the end, which is called emotional release. And there we're putting a combination of these practices together to really learn to let go of emotions, to not have them define us anymore, so we can live in emotional freedom and feel joy and pleasure and bliss and accept it the same way we accept the negative emotions and we release them. And the more practiced we become at that, the more easy it becomes to take the negative emotion, release it, and make space for one that we identify as positive or as loving, right? Any questions around this, around emotional overwhelm? Put them in the comments if you have them. And the third problem, demotivated and lost. If you're in that emotional signature of depressive flow, of depression, of anxiety, of overwhelm, too much is happening. You shut down. Your nervous system shuts down. Your mind shuts down. You feel demotivated and lost. You feel like you're not on your track. And that's what also is the third and one of the biggest problems when it comes to our mental health issues. We feel demotivated and lost. Now, how can we motivate ourselves? There are some simple tricks and like practices that we can apply to motivate ourselves, okay? The first one is we have to feel purpose in showing up. Showing up means showing up for the practice, showing up for the thing that is actually important, showing up for our mental health. We have to feel the purpose. We have to feel that there is a tangible outcome in reach if I show up for a practice. If I show up for a meditation practice, I have to understand that this leads me to a place. leads me to a purpose, right? So the more you identify and the more you feel the purpose in showing up, the easier it becomes to show up, to not be demotivated, and to motivate oneself. Now, the second thing I call self-accountability frameworks. Self-accountability frameworks. These are frameworks that we can set up in our physical surroundings that can support us to hold ourselves accountable. Some we can apply in a journal, some we can apply in posters or post-it notes. There's different ones that I also teach inside of the 12-week Become Your Medicine program. So these are also just simple frameworks we can use as little, I don't like the word hacks, but they kind of are like hacks. And the third thing, which is so often underestimated and which I think is the most powerful one, is grow in a group of like-minded people. Create a momentum inside of a group setting. Now, the greatest example is a new year. You have the whole world posting New Year intentions, and you do it too. Maybe you even sit down and journal because you feel so driven and motivated because everybody's doing it. There is a global momentum happening. A big group of people doing something purposeful, something meaningful, something mindful. You feel that. And then a couple of weeks after, it's gone again. No freaking clue what intentions you had. Living up to those became really hard. We're back without a group momentum. Now, a group momentum can be created. I created inside of my Become Your Medicine program all the time. So everybody who enrolls in that program is supported and has access to that momentum because I'm pushing force and the group around us is automatically a pushing force as well. Not an overwhelming force, just the right amount for you to feel that flow of, oh, there's the purpose. Oh, this is how I have to show up. Oh, I feel that draw, like I feel myself drawing towards taking care of my mental health and growing out of the struggles, right? So if you're a bit overwhelmed by all of this information now, and you feel like, holy shit, that's so much that I have no clue about, or like, I want to learn more about this. As I said throughout this training, I have a program. It's called the Become Your Medicine program. And it's a 12-week program, which comes with weekly live calls, which comes with pre-recorded video lessons, integration practices such as audio files. You download them to your smartphone and then you listen to the meditation or the breathwork files. And it also comes with lifelong community access. The community access is happening in a private Facebook group, but also on a login area of my website. For all of you that don't really like to receive a course in Facebook, you can log into my website and receive the course there, access the community there. So these are the 4 things you can access if you join my Become Your Medicine program. You're warmly welcome to join, of course. It's been a blast hosting it every time. And the beautiful thing about it now is that you can enroll anytime. Little side note, before I hosted it 4 times a year and only every 3 months people could enroll, but this time you can enroll at any time. You can enroll right now, like comment program or Become Your Medicine, or I want to be in the program. Comment it down below. I'll reach out to you. I'll send you more details. We can hop on a clarity call. We can discuss if this program really is for you, if it's a match, if it's available, if it's accessible. It costs money, yes. If it's too much money for you, the whole program, I even have an option, a half price option where you can access a part of the program, not the full program, but a part of the program, the most essential part for half the price. If you want to have it full blast and if you can afford it, if you have the funds, sure, take on the full program. Let me know, comment program if you want it, comment, yeah, program, just the word program, that's enough. Thank you so much for watching this training. Sending much love your way, and I'm excited to connect with you. Mwah! Tropical love.